Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the How to Build series where we're going through every single champion in the game, and I'm putting together a quick reference guide for new players to get an idea of what kind of gear you can throw on them, what kind of things you can do with them where I think they might be useful. That being said, I'm not going to get into masteries and late game stuff. That gets a little complicated and specific based on how you want to use someone. So again, this is just quick reference for beginners. Not saying that what I'm saying here is the best way or the only way to use a champion. Just want to get this information out for the players that are less experienced. So let's go ahead and get into it with the Templar of the Sacred Order. Now he is farmable and he is fusion food. Aside from that, let's talk about him as a champion. He is a defense champ. Base stats are okay. He breaks the 1,000 mark on his base defense. His HP is pretty nice. And his speed's on the lower side, but for what I think he's going to be used for, shouldn't be a big deal. So let's talk about his kit. Everything he has seems to scale off defense. He's only got two main skills. So let's talk about him. His first skill, attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Damage inflicted is proportional to defense. So this is nice. It's single target. It's a single target speed decrease. But we'll get to why this could be a little bit more useful as time goes on, or as we get into his build a little bit. Second skill, attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has a 25% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. So potentially, if there are 4 enemies, there is potential for him to provoke all 4 of them. It will likely rarely go that way just based on math, but hitting 4 times, he's likely to at least land 1 provoke. I mean, he should land at least 1 provoke when he uses a skill, no matter where you're at. And then he places a block damage buff on himself so that he'll provoke someone to hit him, but then when they hit him, they can't do damage to him. He'll take 0 damage unless they have something that lets them ignore the block damage on them. They're going to hit him because of the provoke, and he can't take any damage, and this also scales off of defense. So this is really cool. Now let's talk about his passive. That's also interesting. Attacks with this champion's default skill whenever an enemy places a debuff on this champion. So let's say you're going against some enemies that have some debuffs on their first skill. You land this provoke, you make it so you can't take damage, they come, they hit you, they place a debuff, and it could be, as long as it's not something that crowd controls you, his passive is going to proc, because there's no cooldown on it. So as long as they don't stun, freeze, or sleep you are going to counterattack. And you're going to hit them with your first skill, which is going to potentially put a speed decrease on them, as well as do some damage. Now another cool thing about this is that even when the block damage is not up, he scales on defense. He's a defense champ, and all of his damage is based on defense. So this means in ramping up his survivability, you also get to ramp up his damage. It's essentially like when you're stacking attack on an attack champion, on someone that's designed to be a nuker. The difference here is that while you're stacking defense on him and making him a lot tougher, making it where he can take a lot more damage, you are also in essence stacking attack on him as well, because that's what his skills are based on. So this is always a really fun mechanic. This is always a really cool mechanic. It usually makes a champion pretty useful because they don't have to get super stat hungry to do both things, to survive and do damage. So this is nice. And then his passive is a resistance lead in the arena. Now this is not really a big deal, to be honest. And to be frank, with a passive that relies on getting a debuff put on him, you probably don't want to run his lead in the arena. You want him to get hit with a debuff occasionally so that he'll proc that revenge. So let's talk about where he could be useful. I think he's got a lot of utility in early game arena. I think if you're new to the arena and you get your hands on a Templar, I think earlier in the game he could be a lot of fun on your defense and your offense. You could put him on your offense to draw the attention away from your squishier champions and allow them to do the work that they're designed to do. And you could put him on defense to essentially do the same thing. He's designed to kind of pull the attention off of his teammates, give them more breathing room, give them more survivability, give them more time to do what it is they need to do. So pretty fun setup here. I think he's a pretty cool little champ, to be honest. And the fact that he's farmable means you can go ahead and get you one for your Relic Keeper Fusion, and then you can get you another one and build him up and skill him up. That's always the nice thing about a farmable champ, is that you can skill him up and you don't have to burn your tomes on him. So let's talk about artifacts. Obviously, defense is going to be an important part of his kit. Now, you want to throw some HP on him as well, because you want him to have some survivability, but I don't think you really want a hard focus HP. You just generally want those two things to go hand in hand, because if he gets a defense break put on him, you want him to have a little bit of HP to work his way through that defense break. So I would say definitely defense sets. And you also are going to want accuracy. We want him landing the provoke. We want him landing the decreased speed. So I think there's definitely going to be a defense set, at least one. There's definitely going to be an accuracy set. Speed, I don't personally think he needs a ton of speed, because he's got the revenge built in, so he'll be getting off his first skill regardless, and he'll be pumping out decreased speed debuffs on the enemy, which means he'll slow them down so that it won't be such a big deal that they're faster than he is. Not to mention he's got the provoke. So I don't think it's super crucial that you put a bunch of speed on him. So I wouldn't really even focus speed. If you wanted to put a speed set on him, you can. I would still put defense percentage on the boots personally. There might be some people that would do things differently, and play around with him and see what you end up liking. But I think if I was going to build a Templar to use him for early game arena, or even in some dungeons, he could be useful in some dungeons. I would definitely put a defense set on him. I would definitely put an accuracy set on him, and then I might shoot for like I'd probably go double defense accuracy, and then if I wanted to scale up his damage as I started to get my hands on more artifacts, I would go like defense accuracy crit rate set, and then eventually I'd go crit rate on the gloves, defense on the armor, defense on the boots. But earlier in the game, it's a little harder to put gear on someone. I may have been saying runes too. I'm sorry I keep doing that in these videos. I mean artifacts, but I would go defense across the board. Defense percentage gloves, armor, and boots. And mix it up between defense sets, accuracy sets, some combination of those to shoot his defense way up, shoot his accuracy up. You could even put an HP set on him to get you a 15% boost in your HP and still look for the defense main stats. So those are the artifact sets I'd play around with. The stats I think you want to focus for him are going to be defense for sure and accuracy. And then as you push through a little bit, probably some crit rate and an HP. So in order, defense, accuracy, HP, then crit rate is kind of where I would focus in earlier game. Now I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's going to have a ton of late game utility, because by the time you start to push into like substantial mid game and late game, you're certainly going to have pull some champions that can kind of do some of the stuff he does on a larger scale, on a grander scale. But I do think he's got a lot of utility early game, and he could be a lot of fun for newer players in arena to play around with and aggravate some arena offenses. So I'd say rating out of 10 for what he's going to be used for. Again, which I would say early game arena is probably going to be where he's most fun. He could be a nice tool in a few of the dungeons as well. Could be a nice addition to a campaign team if you're trying to push through. So I think he's got a decent amount, a wide-ish array of utility, and I think like a 6.5 is safe for what he's going to be used for, and how useful he can be for you very early in the game. I don't think he's going to be super hard to build. And again, you get to stack up his survivability and his damage with the same stat, so that's always a nice bonus. So I think 6.5 out of 10 is fair for him and what you're going to get out of him early game. So that's going to wrap it up for Templar. I'm trying real hard to fight a sneeze. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the end of this video without sneezing. But if this wasn't your champion, be on the lookout. I am working my way through every champion in the game, so your champion will be here as soon as I can make it happen. If you have any questions or comments about Templar, drop them in the comments below. If you use Templar and you feel differently about anything I've said, you think he's better or worse, or you're using him for some things I didn't mention, all that information would be really great to have in the comments. Other than that, if you want to catch me live on Twitch, I stream every weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/JGigs. Other than that, that's it. Hope it helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.